Greetings children, welcome to the online classes. This is Aishwarya. Please like and subscribe the channel for the further updated videos. The following video is for class 5, subject E.V.S, lesson 8, agriculture, part 2. Now in part 1 of this lesson, what did we learn? We learned about farm laborers, small scale farmers and large scale farmers. Who are farmers and what kind of work they do, and how our country or our world is dependent on these farmers. Now we are going to see about different types of agricultural land. Agricultural means the place where we are growing the crops. Okay, there are different kinds, or there are different types of agricultural land depending upon the water availability or the type of water that is used in the farming. Okay, so we learn more about that agricultural land. Now, types of agricultural land: there is rain fed agricultural land and irrigated agricultural land. Rain fed agricultural land means, on a brief, I can tell you that it is totally dependent on the rain of the year. Okay, annual rainfall, how much rain we get throughout the year. The whole farming, the whole farmer's life, farmer's year and yield is totally dependent on this water, that is water that comes from rain. The other, irrigated agricultural land, means there are two types of irrigations. Irrigations means supplying water to the farming land. Okay, there are different types. There are different sources of water from where we have to supply the water to the agricultural land. So that kind of agricultural lands come under the irrigated agricultural. So first we are going to learn about rain-fed agricultural land. As the word says, agricultural land which falls under less rainfall area are called rain-fed agricultural land. Now here the rainfall is comparatively less than that of the other places. Crops which require less water are suitable for the soil are grown here. Okay, now if you grow paddy or if you grow rice and all, it requires lot of water, so they cannot be grown in this rain fed agricultural land. Okay, so because here it is totally dependent on the rain, the water supply to the agricultural land is completely dependent on the rain itself. Rain fed cultivations is also called kuski or dry land cultivations. Usually the cotton, such crops are grown in this rain fed agricultural land. There the supply of water is not throughout the year. Only when it rains the crops get the water. They have to store them and they have to use throughout their yield. Okay, until the farmer can yield the crops, he has to be completely dependent on this rain fed agricultural land. So here is one example of the rain fed agricultural land. Next is irrigated agricultural land. Now, in irrigated agricultural land, water is an important wealth for farmers. Okay, it is very important for farmers to supply water to his land. Why? The plants he has already planted, sunlight it is available. Next is the carbon dioxide to make food, right? Plants grow when they get proper food, when they are able to prepare proper food. Now what do they need for preparing for proper food? Water, sunlight, nutrients and carbon dioxide, right? So water is the most important one which the farmer is responsible to supply to his land for his crops to grow well. The sunlight, the carbon dioxide, the nutrients from the soil are all available in that place itself. Okay, he does not have to supplement more for the sunlight. He does not have to provide sunlight. If he grows it in the open out area, it just grows well because of the sunlight. So cultivating land using water from canals, wells and bore wells is called irrigated agricultural land. Cultivation of crops is impossible without water. Rain is the main source of water. We don't get rain all the time, so water is stored in different sources and utilized to cultivate the land. Apart from rain, water is supplied to the crops from ponds, canals, wells, and bore wells. So, the cultivating land using water from these sources. These sources means the canals, wells, ponds are called the irrigated agricultural lands. Now, the examples for these irrigated agricultural lands are sugarcane can be grown, paddy, cotton are grown depending upon the soil quality to the irrigated land. These crops are also called irrigated crops. IRRIGATED irrigated crops. Water is available for agricultural land from ponds, canals, wells and bore wells. They are called sources of irrigations. What are the sources of irrigations? Ponds, canals, wells and bore wells. Farmers who have source of water follow some typical distinct irrigation methods to avoid wastage of water. Now, types of irrigated water agricultural land, there is drip irrigation and spray or sprinkle irrigation. Now we will understand what is this drip irrigation and spray or sprinkler irrigations. Now in drip irrigation, here you can see the water falls drop by drop and is directly supplied to the roots. Okay, the in the pipe that is spread all over the land, there water will be present in it, and only drop by drop for few seconds, drop by drop water will fall for the plants to grow well. This is a very good method to save water. Otherwise, if you have to supply water to acres of land, it becomes very difficult. If you're supplying even it through the pipe, if you're not using the drip irrigation, it becomes very difficult to spread the water throughout these acres of land, and the amount of water that we need to water all the plants in acres of land. So this drip irrigations forms a very good it helps the plants to grow well. This drip irrigation, no children, we can use it in our day-to-day life also. If you're going out of town and if you have gardens in your house, you can take a water bottle, fill it with the water, half or three-fourths, just fill it with the water, make a small hole. You all play with this water bottle, right? Just make a small hole in the cap of that water bottle and put it upside down to like in such a way that the cap should be near the roots of that plant. Okay, here what happens is the water falls drop by drop, and if you're out of town also, the water supply will be there for many days, and the plants can stay alive even if you're not at home. The strip irrigations we can use it in our day-to-day life also. The next one is the spray irrigation. Spray irrigations means, now what happens with spray irrigation, like how we have drip irrigations, this is also provided with the pipes, but it sprays water. What happens for some half an hour or 1 hour, the farmer will water the land with the spray irrigations or sprayed over the crops uniformly like rainfall. After sometimes again in the afternoon for 1 hour he will turn on the motor or he will turn on the sprays. Okay, that way the water is always available for these plants to grow well. Okay, that way the water is always available for the plants to grow. That is the main point for the spray irrigations or the drip irrigation, so that the water is not wasted and the crops get water always. That is the main agenda, or that is the main uses of the drip irrigation or spray irrigation. irrigations. Now here is another example of again the spray irrigation itself. It is sprayed time to time, it is sprayed on the land for half an hour or 1 hour. The farmer will know when he has to stop and when he has to turn it on. Now there are in page number 106 of your textbook, there are asking some uses of drip and spray irrigations. Here you can write down acts like rain. Okay, it mainly acts like rain, works well on sand and loam soil, works well on sand and loam soil, can work well on wide range of slopes. Okay, slopes means like in the mountains when they are growing the crops, these drip irrigations can be used very well. Can be automated. Automated means nowadays there are meters coming which can control if how much of water has to be given to the plants. Can be used to prevent damage to the plants by freezing. Sometimes if their temperature reduces below 0 degrees Celsius, the plants freeze and they die. So that can be reduced or that can be prevented using the drip irrigations or the spray irrigation. Can be used to cool crops. Sometimes if it is extremely hot, the plants can become too hot and it might even kill the plants. So this irrigation method can be used to cool the crops. Can be used to apply fertilizers and pesticides. Sometimes if you're this I would not suggest to apply fertilizers or pesticides. We have to use organic farming, and in the next class we will learn about organic farming and the chemical farming. I hope you have got the points for uses of drip irrigations and spray irrigations. Please list it out in your textbook also. Just looking at the video, you can write it down. Just pause the video, write it down, and you can continue with the video. Okay. So I hope you understood about the drip irrigation and sprinkle irrigations and different rain-fed irrigations, agricultural land. So stay at home, stay safe, take care of yourself, keep learning, children. Thank you.